I canceled the catering, the venue, and the honeymoon tickets exactly 10 minutes before walking down the aisle. My fiancé Greg was standing at the altar waiting for me, thinking he was about to marry a woman who would quietly accept that he had gotten my maid of honor pregnant. He was wrong. It started 2 days ago. I was using Greg's iPad to check the weather for our destination wedding when a message popped up. It was from Jessica, my best friend of 15 years and my maid of honor. It read, "Are you going to tell her before the ceremony, or do we wait until after we get back from Sabio?" My blood turned to ice. I scrolled up. Months of messages, photos, ultrasounds. Plans for how they would use my family as vacation home to raise their secret family while Greg stayed married to me for my inheritance. They weren't just cheating. They were planning to bleed me dry financially. I didn't cry, I didn't scream. A strange, cold calm washed over me. I realized that if I called it off now, I'd be the hysterical, heartbroken victim. They would spin the story. No, I needed them to destroy themselves. On the wedding day, I played the part perfectly. I let Jessica help me into my dress. She was crying fake tears, telling me how lucky I was. I smiled and told her, "I really hope you get exactly what you deserve, Jess." She hugged me, having no idea what that meant. 10 minutes before the music was supposed to start, I made 3 phone calls. Since I paid for everything, the $50,000 venue, the 5-course meal, the live band, every contract was in my name. I told the vendors to pack up. Immediately, I walked to the curtain at the back of the aisle. The wedding march began, but then, abruptly, the power cut out. The room went silent. Greg looked confused. Jessica, standing near the front, looked panicked. Then, the emergency house lights flooded the room with harsh, ugly fluorescent brightness. A team of movers marched in and started rolling up the white carpet from under Greg's feet. A waiter walked up to the head table and took the champagne bottle away. "What is going on?" Greg shouted, his charming mask slipping. I walked out, not in my wedding dress, but in jeans and a leather jacket. I grabbed a portable microphone I brought myself. "There is no wedding," I announced, my voice echoing in the confused hall. "Because the groom is currently expecting a child with the maid of honor." The gasp that went through the room was louder than any applause I've ever heard. Greg's face went pale. Jessica froze, her hands instinctively covering her stomach. Also, I continued walking closer to them. "Greg told you all he bought the house we live in." "He didn't, I did. The lease is in my name." "The car he drives?" "My name. The honeymoon to Sapio he promised to take Jessica on?" I pulled the tickets out of my pocket and ripped them in half. Non-refundable. But since I paid for them, I decided to cancel the reservation. Greg ran toward me, sweating. "Baby, wait, we can talk about this. Don't do this in front of my family." I looked him dead in the eye and smiled the same smile the mother gave the teacher in that story you read. "I'm not doing anything, Greg. I'm just leaving. The venue manager says you have exactly 30 minutes to vacate the premises before they call the police for trespassing. Since I canceled the contract, you're technically crashing a private event." I turned around and walked out. Behind me, I heard Greg's mother screaming at Jessica, and I heard Greg begging the movers not to take the open bar. I got into my car, drove to the airport, and took a flight to Italy, alone. It was the best honeymoon I could have asked for.